Yeah.
Time can be deceiving, I'm just trying to read it. I'm trying to free my mind while living and repeating, living in a trance, so desperate to advance. I can't help the feeling that I'm feeling within. Time can be deceiving, I'm just trying to read it. I'm trying to free my mind while living and repeating, living in a trance, so desperate to advance. I can't help the feeling that I'm feeling within. I can't stop for 1 second, 'cause my son needs to eat, and I can't dream. Then reality comes and get a grasp of me. I work 5 days a week, every week. I can't seem to think how I'm gonna be the man that I've dreamed. I'm so stuck in a trance, I still gotta be a man to raise my sons. I am to be a great human being. How can I be a great father if I'm working 12 hours? Stuck in a trance, stuck in a trance, stuck in a trance, stuck in a trance. Time can be deceiving, I'm just trying to read it. I'm trying to free my mind while living and repeating, living in a trance, so desperate to advance. I can't help the feeling that I'm feeling within. Time can be deceiving, I'm just trying to read it. I'm trying to free my mind while living and repeating, living in a trance, so desperate to advance. I can't help the feeling that I'm feeling within. Time moves oh so quick, I can't wrap my head around it. But what I know is that I get so lost in it. I wish I could go back in time. Instead of being in a trance, I lost my mind. Time can be deceiving, I'm just trying to read it. I'm trying to free my mind while living and repeating, living in a trance, so desperate to advance. I can't help the feeling that I'm feeling within. Time can be deceiving, I'm just trying to read it. I'm trying to free my mind while living and repeating, living in a trance, so desperate to advance. I can't help the feeling that I'm feeling within. Time can be deceiving, I'm just trying to read it. I'm trying to free my mind while living and repeating, living in a trance, so desperate to advance. I can't help the feeling that I'm feeling within. Time can be deceiving. I'm so obsessed with the quest that it is so absurd. I hope I don't end up in the back of a hearse. I'm focused on my time that I had left on earth. I hope my mama never had to put me in the dirt. I'm contemplating getting a couple bitches, have them in the fucking kitchen and they cooking up that word. You think I'm tripping, but I am so disturbed. I'm fucking twisted, I'm so sadistic, but I'm a mystic. Just in case you missed it, pay attention, shut up and listen. I believe in God's high and mighty godly existence. Ayo, 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 ayo. Tryna get my money right, just listen to my songs. I'm gonna be a movie star on your radio. Ayo, 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 ayo. What's going on, every mother-loving body? This is Erek, Loyd in the building here today. I got a special show here today, guys. Today we're going to be talking about depression, fighting depression with neuroplasticity and law of attraction, with the addition of getting the understanding of self-belief and how impactful that will be on combating depression. If you are depressed and you find yourself coming across this specific video live stream, understand that I hear you. Understand that I care about you. There's a lot of people, all of us have our mental issues. Mental health is real. All of us have our things that mentally keep us down. And to be honest, our most important organ is our brain. So if you're having an illness in your brain, which is the most important organ, without your brain, your body cannot survive. Hell, your heart couldn't stop. As long as your brain function is still going, you can be revived. If your brain cells are depleted, there's no getting you back after that. That's how important the brain is, right? So what we're going to be talking about mainly is having an understanding of combating depression, because my whole point of this video is to help you guys work your way through depression. Okay, first and foremost, if you're new to the motherfucking Eazzy show, this is the Eazzy show. I need to start doing something like that. It's talking jazzy like, welcome to the Eazzy show. I can't stutter like a motherfucker. Hold up. Welcome to the Eazzy show. I am Erek Loyd, and I will be taking you on a vast hunt to determine whether or not how to stop depression. Now, I'm not going to keep talking like that bullshit because I ain't got time for it. But just in case some professional niggas are watching, yes, I can be professional. Okay, if I hell, don't judge me because I'm cussing and all this bullshit. I just do it because I like it. But I can be very professional. Absolutely, I can talk in a way that I do not have to use foul language and still get my point across. All right, so motherfuckers, holla at your boy.
God damn, what a big old ass. What's the mathematics? What's the mathematics? Your mama, can a brother holler at you? Holla, holla, holla. Holla at you, holla, holla at you, holla at you, holla, 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 holla. You brother, can a brother holler at you? I know a little, are you gay? I know a little homosexual Mexican love to have you, boy. You spending bucks, big bucks, big bucks, big bucks. Love you, have you, love you, have you, love you, have you.
Hey, brother, are you gay? You spend a big box, okay? All right, and you know what? To be honest, I just went live trying to do this show, and I wasn't able to hear any of my motherfucking clips, and that shit pissed me off, okay? So you know what I had to say. I had to say, fuck it, we are going live.
Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live, fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
Shit. I said, fuck it, I'll write it. God damn it, I'm gonna get it to the people because my boy Sean Thompson is going through something too. Brother, I'm right there with you. Let me just say, I did this video because of me and your mental state, okay? I'm in a position where I feel myself slipping into a depressive state, and I understand, I've been here so many times that I know how to get myself out of it. I have an understanding of depression, and this is to help some of you get through. So Sean Thompson, specifically, this show is for you and me. Okay, and hopefully we can help other people out there maneuver. But if you have any opinion at all that could help someone else, please get in the comments and say it. I don't give a damn if it's the N word, the A word, the Z word, the A word. Okay, I don't give a damn. Say something in the comments.
About this on the show before. You have African-American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't.
So say it.
Say what?
Say the word you want to say.
I'm not saying that I want to say it. I'm just saying that I can't.
Sure you can. Say it. Say it right now. I will say it with you.
Okay, this is hypocritical. You know we can't.
Sure you can. This is America. Both of you.
All right, so now that we got the intro stuff out the way, let's go into the show, okay? So this could be a lengthy show if I talk fucking long, but I need to run through this bitch, okay? So we need to come to an understanding of what depression is. So depression is broken down in 3 different areas. So depression is a group of conditions associated with the elevation or lowering of a person's mood, such as depression or bipolar disorder. So let's take a look at specifically the 3 different ones. So you have clinical depression, a medical health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or loss of interest in activities, causing significant impairment in daily life. Okay, so sometimes you can get down so bad you find yourself consistently in the area of feeling down to where you feel like you're tired and you feel like you've done a lot, but you haven't. And that can affect your life significantly, especially in the workforce. Okay, you have persistent depressive disorder. It's a mild but long-term form of depression. Usually, it stays with you a lot longer because it can go from clinical depression to persistent depressive disorder, which can become a part of your, characteristics, and that's not good, right? So you got bipolar disorder. Now this has to be medically induced, right? Because sometimes people can't control their emotions and have a disorder where, I'll read it. A disorder associated with episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows and manic highs. Okay. And that we're not here to talk about bipolar disorder. If you have bipolar disorder, please get the proper help by talking to a therapist or a psychiatrist who can give you the proper medication to get through those things. I do not believe in medication, and we're going to cover that specifically when dealing with mental disorders or dealing with depression. I don't believe that medicine will help in the long run, but we're going to cover that. Sometimes depression could be really hard though.
Some days it's really, really hard to just move. It's
Oh, I get it.
It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to even go downstairs to get something to eat.
Sometimes just the simplest things could be just so tough to do to where you have to make a decision. Damn, do I want to deal with this? Do I want to get up even out of the bed? Sometimes you get so depressed, you think you're hungry, you go to eat, and then realize you're not hungry at all. Okay? I've been there. And sometimes you don't even know you're depressed, especially if this is your first time experiencing depression.
Depression's not always obvious. Sometimes it's invisible. Even if those people around you can't see your pain, and they can't understand it, that pain is still real. It's still happening for you. And it needs as much attention as any physical pain. Finding someone you trust to share that with is that crucial first step.
Well, it's also with the addition of the people around us, if they know us, right? If they know that usually if you're depressed, you're not acting like your normal self. You're in a down mood. You could be easily triggered than usual. And in most cases, for example, my depressive states came in deaths in family members that I was really close with. I even lost one of my best friends that was 24 or something like that when I was 23. So I've been in depressive states, and I remember my first experience with depression is when I lost my grandmother, and I didn't want to eat. I didn't do shit at school. I just would stare blanklessly, and that was okay with me. doing work. I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. To the point where I had to in order to pass the damn grade. But yeah, I had a moment where I wasn't eating. I didn't even realize that I was depressed until my auntie Barbara was like, "Hey, you stop that depression shit. You hear me? Your grandmother wouldn't be okay with that. You get out of that. You shake that shit off. You do what you need to do, and you keep pushing forward." And I thank my auntie Barbara for that, because I didn't know that I was in depression. I didn't know what that was like, but it was like it had complete control over me and my emotions. And the only way that felt good was just being down. And the thing is, you can't stay down. That's the thing about depression. If you don't realize it or don't have an idea of the effect that it's having on you, my thought is just that I'm just grieving, but it turned into something deeper when I wasn't able to get out of that state. Okay? Let's take a look at the heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, on depression.
I just didn't want to live anymore. I was happy to die at 27. I was happy to finish, that was it. Nothing or nobody could bring me back. Not my wife and kids, didn't care about nothing. Every day I woke up, I just wanted to die. It's a crazy way to be, but only people who understand, like, who's been through depression and all that sort of stuff, will understand what I'm saying. And when you're so down and every day you wake up, even if it's sunshine and it's grey and you're negative all the time, and you're infectious, you infect people who are around you, make them negative and down, and you push everybody away and you just want to be left alone, like in a dark corner, and left alone. If you had your arm chopped off, then people could see it and they know you've got a proper injury. But with you being mentally unwell, you can't see in someone's brain. So I could be here now and I look okay, but I could be hearing voices in my mind, or I could be going back and forth with my own self. It's one of the worstest things that I've ever experienced, like being punched in the face or whatever has happened to me in my life. Nothing could ever compare with mental health struggle.
Mental health can be a son of a bitch, because a lot of people don't know how to maneuver mentally. Depression can make you look like...
Depression can become so severe that you lose touch with reality and develop psychotic symptoms. These psychotic symptoms are delusions and hallucinations. However, delusions tend to be more common than the hallucinations. The delusions can take on a persecutory or nihilistic tone. Persecutory is when you feel attacked in some way. You may feel like people are talking about you or trying to harm you. And on several occasions, I've seen people who were delusionally depressed and felt that people were coming into their home. Nihilistic delusions are when you feel that things are senseless and they've lost their value. Like, what's the point in life? Nothing matters. And this can be some of the thought behind a person not wanting to live and making a suicide attempt. Sometimes suicide attempts are impulsive, but sometimes they're born out of these nihilistic delusions that nothing matters. So why does even anyone exist? Even existence is senseless.
And let me just tell you, I showed Tyson Fury specifically early because the thing is, even the heavyweight champion of the world, one of the baddest men on the planet, are human. We are all human. We're all human. And because of that, there's not enough information on the brain. They're not even successfully able to do a brain transplant because it's so complex. So we're dealing with a thing that is so crucial, but just so much lack of information because of how crucial that piece is. It's literally like trying to change the setting on a phone without the phone's battery. It's the brain is our battery that keeps everything flowing and moving and on. And it could get to the point where you're in a depressive state so bad that it could play with your mind. And I've been there, even when in relationships, dealing with my insecurities when I was a lot younger, not understanding that I'm depressed. 2, I'm dealing with the additions of insecurity and anxiousness, and I'm not happy with where I am in my life. And if I'm not happy, what do I think about my partner? So I used to play these mind games with myself and think that she's cheating and come up with these things that would play in my head like, yo, nigga, she probably doing something wrong. And I was simply just being insecure. I didn't have any proof. And that made me dangerous because then I went out and cheated when she didn't. So, you know, you have to be careful with these specific delusions, because then they can make you do drastic things like kill yourself. And let me just tell you this. I care about you. The whole reason why you're watching the show is because I wanted this show to make sense to you, to prevent you from making drastic decisions like that. Everything matters. It's never will be a point to where your life doesn't matter. You're put here on earth for a specific reason. It's all about us figuring out what that reason is and executing it. A lot of us will spend most of our lives trying to figure out what that reason is. So please don't ever think that life is so bad that you cannot survive it. God, if you're religious, understand God will never put you through something that he didn't know that you could handle. He'll never put you through it. If you do not believe in it, there's a such thing as energy. Putting positive energy out, expecting negative energy. Listen, if you don't believe in a God, then I'm damn sure you can believe in science and fucking energy, okay? Which we're going to cover as far as law of attraction. We're going to cover that. You got to believe in something, because all this shit that's around, the cause and effect, if I slam something with velocity and it flies across, that's all energy. That's proven. So you have to deal with specific things like this, like depression and mental health, with logic, okay? And to be fair, humans are, when they're depressed, are usually met with usually are unhappy and have unmet needs.
If you're depressed, if you're anxious, you're not weak, you're not crazy, you're not in the main a machine with broken parts. You're a human being with unmet needs.
It could be as simple as that. It's just your expectation in life is not going the way you expected it to go. You are literally just a human with unmet needs. And that's the thing to have to look at it as far as depression. Look at it like a fucking storm. That's all it is. Look at it like a storm. The thing about storms is that they don't last forever. Okay, they might stay for a little bit, but after a certain point, it has to move on. And that's how you have to look at these depressive states. If you find yourself there, understand that this terrible feeling that you are feeling won't be there for long. Don't worry. You have to go into it thinking that way. I'm not going to be depressed forever. This feeling that I'm feeling as far as my needs being unmet, I'm not going to be there forever. And if you are feeling some type of way as far as mental health, you're not broken. Something's just not wrong with you. I've heard a lot of people say, well, I'm not good enough, or you are. You always are. You always are. Don't ever let your mind play that game on yourself. You are here for a reason. You do certain things that touch people's lives for a reason. You are giving the choice to live good or bad for a reason. You have to take that in consideration. Understand all of our lives matter. All of our opinions matter. That's why I say it in the fucking comments. Speak your motherfucking ass up and say it in the goddamn comments, because your voice is heard. I don't give a fuck if you're cussing me out or giving me negative criticism. That will help me further down the line. So make sure all of your voices are heard. Make sure you know that you are important, that your life matters. Don't ever get that twisted. Don't ever let your mental games play you and make you think that you're something that you're not. And we usually are our worst critics, and we usually think worse about ourselves than everybody else actually do. Now, here's 5 signs that you're having a depressive moment or in depression.
Here are 5 hidden signs of depression. 1. You have habitual remedies. If you find yourself making extra changes to your lifestyle, then it can indicate that you're struggling more than usual with it. Hidden depression exists when you're trying to quiet the loud demons in your head. 2. You have irregular eating and sleeping patterns. People with depression struggle with consistent sleeping and eating patterns. Depression can work in extremes and slows us down when we get little energy. 3. You are highly philosophical. Do you constantly find yourself seeking a purpose in life? Also think about the life and death. They usually feel directionless, lost, and scared. 4. You have trouble with abandonment. People with depression understand how much of a burden it can be, afraid that it'll be harder for them to be there for me when I need their support. 5. You're losing your patience. Depression doesn't always have to look like sadness or dejection. Instead, you might find yourself frustrated and impatient with everyone.
Boy, all those terms, all that shit was exactly what I experienced at some point in my life of depression. If that's me not happy because I'm not in the place I would have liked to been as a little kid, I have dreams of being a musician and an actor. And I make music, yeah, and I've acted on some things, but that's not my main career. I still work jobs in order to survive. So, I'm not on that level that I feel like at the age of 27 I should be. You get what I'm saying? So, and I've been depressed as a kid coming up, not feeling impatient about the process and just checking out. I've had that moment so many times. So many times. If you look at my work history, if you Google my name, you'll see there's periods where I wasn't making music. There's periods where I'm making video production, but there's periods where I stopped that. I have these moments, and it puts me in these depressive states, but it's a fighting, working process. You'll never be, the thing is, a lot of times for me, I get depressed and not know it until I'm already too deep in, right? You have to take that in consideration. Once you realize that you are in a depressive state, you got to fight out of that. And the question is how to fight depression.
When the depression and anxiety come along, you think part of it with depression, it's just bloody endurance. It's like you get up and you work through the next hour. You try to stay on track. You try to implement your strategic plans to the best of your ability. And you hope and you pray that you'll get through it. You'll get through it and that the darkness will recede. And you stay on track. You eat even though you're not hungry. You get up even though you want to stay in bed. You interact with people even though you'd rather be alone. And it's the benefit of disciplined habits can sustain you. It's like the boat you're rowing in through a terrible storm, leaks and all, and maybe you'll be overwhelmed, but you have the boat and you can row forward, and that's what you've got. And so endurance is a huge part of it. And then I would say with its anxiety, it's the same thing.
You have to fight through it. Well, how do I fight? Well, you just keep pushing forward. You do not submit to staying in bed. You do not submit to not eating. You do not submit to changing your life patterns because you feel a certain type of way. You fight against that. It's a lot of people have inner demons that they have to deal with. And a lot of people are overwhelmed. So the best thing they can do in that specific moment is submit. The problem is, though, if you submit to your mental health, you will find yourself consistently submitting to it, consistently falling down to it. You can never allow your brain to win the battle. And they're like, oh, well, my brain, I don't understand that. You have to fight and push back. When your body is telling you, no, nigga, no, I don't, and that doubt is creeping in your head as to why you shouldn't continue doing your regular scheduled programming, you got to fight back. You got to be disciplined in that to keep pushing forward. Understand that depression is a storm. It will not last forever. That, in most cases, has gotten me through my depressive state. Understanding that it is a storm. What I'm feeling, I might not feel 6 months from now. I might not feel a month from now. You understand what I'm saying? It's a slow process that I find myself in that I have to work out of. So you always just take that in consideration. You have to push. You have to work. And it's going to seem like you're working even harder just to continue doing the things that you were doing before. Do not allow depression to stop you in your tracks.
Anybody who's ever gone through depression would tell you that it's not just something in your mind, but rather it's something you feel in your body. As much as it's in your head, it's also in your stomach. Having anxiety and depression is like being scared and tired at the same time. It's the fear of failure, but no urge to be productive. It's wanting friends, but hate socializing. It's wanting to be alone, but not wanting to be lonely. It's feeling everything at once, then feeling paralyzing numb. This is a picture of what anxiety and depression at times feels like. Yet what I'm learning more and more in life is that it's fear that causes anxiety. What I've learned in these moments of anxiety is that I have to stop listening to myself and I have to start talking to myself.
Now, understand what he just said. Understanding that I have to stop listening to myself and start talking to myself. See, your subconscious is going to tell you and creep into your head and tell you all kinds of things and affect how you actually feel and how you actually maneuver. You have to talk to yourself. Stop listening to what your head is saying. Stop listening, because your head can tell you the wrong thing and you think you know everything and you not know shit at all. I'm sure all of you have experienced that, where you thought you knew with such confidence until somebody proved you wrong. Same thing as far as your brain inside of your own damn brain. You have to stop listening to yourself and start talking to yourself. Well, what do you mean? What am I supposed to say to myself? That I'm great. That, hey, you ain't gonna be down for long. My mom had a moment where she was depressed. She got a bachelor's degree, she got a master's degree, and she found herself jobless at this specific point. She ended up saying, fuck it. She ended up quitting her job because of the nonsense that was going on. And she found herself at the age of 50 working as a janitor and working in another place with a bachelor's and a master's degree. And it's this one moment I'm seeing, this is when I was living with her, and she's just, in her room, all down and depressed. She's looking terrible. She's not wanting to get out of the bed. She's been in the bed all week outside of the times that she has to go to work overnight shift. She's in her 50s. You get what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, this ain't the fucking woman that raised me. You are impenetrable. You are Erica. I'm Erek. My mom's name is Erica. You are Erica. I've known you to battle through every fucking way, raising me on your own. What the fuck is this? Get your shit together. I'm talking to my mom just like this. Get your shit together. Pull your shit up. You have a fucking master's degree. That might not mean shit right now, but whatever you're going through, pull your shit together. You've done greater things than this here. You pulled yourself out of bigger hurdles than this here. Get your shit together. Get your ass up and do something. Now, mind you, that was painful for me as the son to say that to my mom. But in my spirit, it was like, yo, I know that she's stronger than this. I couldn't allow myself to not say something because I was afraid to say something to my mom. No, the message was more important than anything. Pull your shit together because I know you're better than this. And when you're in a depressive state, everybody is human. We will all find ourselves here. But it's about fighting back against everything that's telling you not to. It's about fighting and pushing back with those inner demons in your head that's telling you you're not good enough. You're not going to make it out of this. You have to fight back. You got to punch that bitch in the motherfucking face, spit at that motherfucker's face, kick that bitch to the ground, and walk over that motherfucker. That's how you have to treat depression and your inner demons. And a lot of people was like, well, I don't understand. What does even depression feel like?
I know you broken and you feel this pain. I know you screaming deep inside, but no one hears a thing. I know some days you wanna die cause nothing's ever changed. And every day you go and cry, you feeling so insane. Yeah, I know it's hard with dealing with the pressure. You wish you had someone to talk to, someone that would get you. You having nightmares of the past, of being on a stretcher. Just know that if you ever fall, I'll be here right to catch you. Sometimes you're feeling broken, got nowhere else to go. Just hiding all your pain and hoping it don't show. Some days you're feeling lost and always on your own. Just keep on holding on and know you're not alone.
So, here's the thing. There's some people out here that help a lot of other people. And those are the people that you have to look after, that you have to put yourself aside and check on them. Someone who's always giving you advice, trust me, who's willingly, openly giving you advice to help you, are personally going through their own demons. If they are able to take on everything else, they don't have time to help themselves. For example, once again, my mom got a master's in being a therapist. Okay, she's a therapist at this point. A licensed therapist. And my thing is, she gives me advice. She gives the mother of my child advice. She gives her brothers advice. She gives family members advice. But there's moments where she needs advice herself. She's talking to her friends and she's like, yeah, I just talked about these problems. And when I expressed my problems, they kind of just rubbed it off. Because the people who are in these positions of helping us that we go to when we are down don't have anybody else to vent to. And that's what that clip spoke to me about. You have to be, everybody is human. And some of the people who give the best advice are those who are going through it themselves, who just don't have the answer for themselves.
I know you broken and you feel this pain.
Hold up.
I know you screaming deep.
I didn't mean to click that motherfucker. All right, so let's take a look at people with depression.
People with depression who choose to stay alive another day are stronger than we know. Speaking from experience, I've been at my knees. I know what that's like. But to choose to stay alive another day means that you're winning the war. And that is powerful.
It's all about winning that damn war. You might be losing a battle because you feel the pain and you feel the scars of what life has put you through. But goddamn it, you still breathing. You still are fucking alive. If you're able to think, even if you feel suicidal, that should be, the thoughts of suicide should be strong enough to push you away from that. Those people, and this is very controversial to say, but people who commit suicide are weak. Who can't handle the pressure are weak. And I know a lot of people who have family members have experienced someone who's committed suicide. They mentally couldn't handle the pressure. They didn't have someone to talk to. They didn't have the strength to go out and get the help necessary. They stayed in that depressive state and they allowed it to consume them, to where it started to play mental tricks and they started to create these delusions in a sense to kill themselves, that nothing else matters, not even my life. People who have attempted to commit suicide and are still alive today are strong as shit. People who have decided to not kill themselves right before attempting suicide are strong as shit. Life is fucking difficult. Let me just tell you, life ain't fucking easy. Life will try and beat your ass to a bloody pulp, but it's always about getting up. That's what the boxing and combat sport game is all about. If you get knocked down, it's about getting your ass back up. That's life. It's about getting hit, knocked the fuck down, and getting over that hurdle. Keep pushing forward. That's what life is about. Understand, Robin Williams said it in the fucking movie and ended up killing himself because and I'm not going to say that he was weak because of that, because he had a mental disorder that made that happen. Okay? It wasn't something where he was depressed as well, but it was because of the mental thing that is known to kill people and have them kill themselves. And that created that delusion for him. But he said it himself in a movie. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. It is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Depression is a temporary problem. It is not meant to hold on to forever. Now, you might have a moment where you're feeling down and you need to rest yourself. Look at it simply as rest. But if it's going on multiple days that you've done nothing, that is the problem. And a lot of people who have mental problems think that a therapist is going to wave their magic wand and just fix them. One, you're not fucking broken. We didn't already clear that. You're not broken. That's number one. You're just in a fucking storm. Grab your fucking bootstraps and get the fuck out of there. A lot of people think that medicine and drugs will get them out of that. The doctor will wave its magic wand, provide a prescription to get us out of a specific depressive state. And we know, we've already cleared, if you stay in that state long enough, it will create a delusion for you and basically create a problem to where you're hearing things like, I'm not important and I'm going to kill myself. You start to have delusions. So we understand staying in a depressive state will do that to you. But some people feel like there's nothing I can do to get out of that. There's nothing I can do to myself. Somebody help me. So then they go to drugs. And here's why antidepressants don't work.
Antidepressant isn't beneficial for you. There's a thing called poop out. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I've worked with a ton of patients over the years who are on antidepressants. And a lot of times it can start helping us. And we're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. And then for some reason, it just stops being as effective and we don't really know why. And poop out could be one of those things. Maybe our body and our brain is just like, I'm used to this. It's not helping me anymore. And we might need to be on something different.
Fuck antidepressants. What about antibiotics? Somebody like, what? What are you talking about? Antibiotics. Antibiotics are not that damn good going forward because us as humans, our cells and all of that have adapted. Viruses have adapted to combat with the actual modern day antibiotics. So if you take in terms of antidepressants, a lot of people who take mental drugs find themselves after a certain point having to change medication, and it having a vast effect on how their chemical balance is. So then once this drug no longer works, which is always the case, they have to go to something more bigger, more affecting to them. You find yourself, when it comes down to these medications like antidepressants, they also will make you feel like killing yourself. But furthermore, you will develop a fucking, what is that called? Where you hold on to it for no reason. Like dependency. You create a dependency on that drug. And instead of fixing the problem, like getting yourself out of that mental state and changing your mental state, what it does is it just wipes over and shields the actual problem. It doesn't deal with it. It just masks it. That's it. It just masks the actual problem. That's what the drugs do. So if you're expecting someone to wave a magic wand, give you some medication to help you stop changing the way you think about yourself, you're simply just masking the problem for it to become a bigger issue later, because medication does not deal with mental health. It pushes it aside. And honestly, the whole fucking pharmacy area, as far as prescriptions and all that, it's just as equivalent to drug addicts selling crack on the streets. In most cases, these medicines do not help, especially when it comes to mental health. It's money in it. Oh, yeah. Oh, so these people are dealing with mental health, huh? Well, let's put them on drugs. Let's quickly put them in a position to where we can mask that. They're going to have to build a dependency and continue to come and buy these drugs. What's up, Cynthia Allen? You already know what it is. Let's build a dependency for these people to have to rely on these drugs so they can continue giving us money. That's why medicine doesn't work. That's why it's the biggest fucking scam in the world. Those are legal drug dealers. It doesn't fix the problem. Look at fucking mental patients. A regular sane person can go to an insane asylum, get drugged to hell, be in there for a few years, and then develop actual mental problems. What does that say about medicine? Does it fix the issue? Because a sane person, my black ass could be put in an institution and I would be local than a motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? So what is medicine really doing? So let's take a look at this guy. And this is going to move us into our next portion of him saying that antidepressants help neuroplasticity.
Did you know that antidepressants like Prozac function partly by enhancing neuroplasticity? This may help explain why these drugs are typically most effective at treating depression when combined with psychotherapy. So it seems that antidepressants don't just make people feel better, they also put the brain into a highly malleable state in which non-pharmacological therapeutic interventions have a stronger effect. Psilocybin, derived from psychedelic mushrooms, may also be an effective antidepressant, and it also seems to enhance neuroplasticity, though in a much more intense way. If you want to learn more about neuroplasticity, check out the captions in my newest video.
Boom. Neuroplasticity will help you fight your depression. It's literally changing the brain. So what he says is that antidepressants help with neuroplasticity. Let me tell you something, folks. What he just said is exposed exactly what the fuck my point is. You think he's talking big about it, which he is, as far as antidepressants. Antidepressants help you with neuroplasticity. Little that you know, you can affect your neuroplasticity just by the way you think. You don't have to pay money for medication to help you do something that you do naturally. You don't need to pay for medication when you can do it in your own head. So, for those of you that don't know what neuroplasticity is...
What is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity is when your brain's neurons change their structure and pathways over time in accordance with the external stimuli. Now, excuse my Platonism, but for me, this phenomenon is the connection between the world of meanings and the world of matter. Boy, that's so Platonic. What I mean by meanings is the words, ideas, concepts, things that are untouchable. Feed those to your brain over time and your brain's physiological material structure will literally change. A classic of the soft power winning over the hard power. It's like a superpower except it's not. Man, neuroscience is awesome.
Okay, so in layman terms, we're going to go over what neuroplasticity is, because when I listen to that motherfucker, it makes sense because I know about neuroplasticity, but for those of you that don't know, let me get a better explaining. So, neuroplasticity is also known as neutral plasticity or brain plasticity. It's the ability of neutral networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization. And it is when the brain is rewired to function in a way that's different from how it previously functioned. So, what that's basically saying is that neuroplasticity is expressing that, one, your brain is more like a recorder, okay? So, but visually and all that, like a camera, let's say we got a camera and it's always on and it's recording these moments, right? But that is also with our environment, the people, the company that we keep affects how our mental is. Our parents can affect our mental wiring. Hey, you can't do this. As a black man, I was taught growing up in America, you will have to work harder than someone who would be per se white. I was wired to think that shit will be more difficult for me when moving out in the real world. So mentally, while I'm out here, shit is actually difficult for me as a black man to have to fight harder for these high paying jobs and positions. What about when my mom started to feel like, hey, you probably need to find a different route because this isn't working for you? And mentally, that started to creep in my head like, damn, this probably might not work for me because of my wiring. You can change certain things when it comes down to your brain. You always heard you can create a new habit by doing it 28 times or so forth. That's what we're talking about here. Is changing your mental wiring, changing your thinking, actually changing the way you think, which will change your perception of things. And we all have that ability to change our minds. Some people are like, well, damn, how do I even access neuroplasticity? How do I go by doing that without using medication?
So this thing we call neuroplasticity is really that. It's the brain's ability to modify itself in response to experience. And I think it's important to understand that from birth till about age 25, the brain is extremely malleable in a kind of almost passive way where kids are exposed to things and the brain is just wiring up. I mean, the brain is really designed to adjust itself in order to be in concert with its surroundings. So for people that want to change their brain, the power of focus is really the entry point. And the ability to access deep rest and sleep. Because most people don't realize this, but neuroplasticity is triggered by intense focus. But neuroplasticity occurs during deep sleep and rest.
Zeke, salute to you, my brother. Thanks for coming in and watching. Make sure all y'all people here hit the like. Hopefully I can get y'all to subscribe, goddammit, because I'm only here to speak fucking facts. Anytime I get on the motherfucking like, I say, fuck it, we going live. I'm speaking nothing but facts. But to go back on that point, you have to focus. You have to be disciplined to actively make an effort to change the way you think. You have to actively make an effort to change the way you think. Hey, I'm going to stop smoking. I got to stop smoking. So I'm going to try to not think about smoking. I'm going to remove myself from those who do smoke. I'm going to try everything in my power to ensure that I don't want to go back to those habits. And after a while, you forgot the fact that you wanted to stop smoking, especially if you continue to push and move forward and keep pressing, focusing on not going back, staying disciplined. This is what this is all about. When fighting your depression, in order to get out the shit, you got to stay disciplined, stay according to the path, push forward, even when your mind and body is telling you otherwise. You are wired to think the way you think. If you find yourself consistently in these moments where you just mentally need help, how do you put yourself around things that will help you? Why don't you do more research on motivation and good positivity? It is possible to reshape your brain. Now, if you don't take her motherfucking word for it, I got proof that of neuroplasticity in action. Our brain is like a web of connections and transmitters and electricity bouncing off of each other. Stems connecting and detaching. That's wiring and rewiring. You don't need medication to do this. It's all about your thinking. Listen, humans, are the most powerful tool that we have. The reason why we are so dominant is because of our brains, because of our thinking, how we can see a threat, outsmart it by thinking and looking in a different aspect. Even though our physical capabilities won't protect us, let's say from a lion, we can outsmart things. That's why we're the most dominant species on this planet. It's because of our brain and our ability to change the way we think. If we stayed in the era of fucking swords and arrows, We wouldn't have been able to create a fucking gun. We wouldn't have been able to look outside of the actual reality and create these things. You are able to reshape your brain. And here's the goddamn proof. Boom. There you go. There's the proof. You don't need medications to do that. It was moving on its own. You don't need to pay anybody to take your true power. There was a movie. I don't know if it was Limitless or it was one of these movies. It was two movies. One, this guy would take a pill to reach his peak thinking experience. And there's this other one where this lady had the ability to control and use 100% of her brain. Realistically, I did hear a quote that said, oh, humans only use 30% of their brain function, which is not true. Their brain is always moving. Even when you're in sleep, your brain is working more than it did when you're actually awake. Your brain is always going. It never stops. Ever. Your consciousness needs rest. But your subconscious still pushes fucking forward. The most powerful weapon we have isn't the tools that we make. It's the brain that allows us to make those things. You are powerful. Every human being has the ability to change the way they think, to reshape their brain. We just showed you here. You just heard all of the doctors say that you're able to do that, right? So let's determine the difference between neuroplasticity and self-help.
Question, what's the difference between neuroplasticity or brain retraining and self-help? Well, there's a lot of differences, but the main difference that I like to explain to people is that self-help often turns out to be an intellectual exercise where we learn and try and acquire more information, and then we use that information to try and essentially think our way out of the troubles that we're experiencing. Neuroplasticity, or brain retraining, on the other hand, is a scientific method of actually reconditioning not just your brain, but your nervous system, and therefore your body and your immune system, your endocrine function, all of the downstream effects that happen as a consequence of having a properly functioning and ordered brain. So this is something that you can actually learn. It involves repetition, exercises, and things that we teach at Reorigin.
So, neuroplasticity is the wiring of your brain, the way you think, and your habits. Self-help, which I'm going to tie in with law of attraction, affects the way you think and upholds your mood. And law of attraction goes even deeper to outcomes that you get. So law of attraction, self-help, is in a way of bringing the world to you. Neuroplasticity is changing the world inside of your head. And law of attraction and neuroplasticity is also, in addition to helping you get out of depression. So let's take a look at what law of attraction is before we move forward. So law of attraction is it's basically suggesting that positive thoughts bring positive results into someone's life, while negative thoughts bring negative outcomes. So, scientifically, off the top, the world is full of energy. Everything has energy. Everything. My camera that's sitting right here has energy. The hair that's standing still on my face has energy. Everything, energy is everywhere. If you're atheist, you damn sure believe in energy. If you fucking light a flame and it burns, that is energy. So, I told you guys that the most powerful tool that we have is our brain. And yes, we do indeed use 100% of our brain. but a lot of us don't use it in a way that is helpful. So we think a lot of people are in this down, gloomy state. Like they feel like life just sucks and I'm just in a negative mood. If you notice, if you have friends that's always in a bad mood or always like negative, that a lot of negative shit happens to them. That's law of attraction. They attract the negativity in their lives because that's their thinking. If someone says, well, I can't do something, the answer is you're right. You can't because you told yourself you couldn't. The moment you allow doubt to creep in, you've lost. It's what you put out, like karma. What goes around comes around, but in the form of thinking. This is scientific. It is scientifically proven that your thoughts send out energy waves. And remember, what you put out is what you get back. So you thinking positive, positive things is going to happen. You're thinking negative, negative things is going to happen to you. I'm doing an application for this job. If I know for a fact that I'm going to get this fucking job, I'm going to get that fucking job. And I might not get that specific job, but I'll get a fucking job that's better than that because I knew without a doubt in my head that I was going to get it. If I think, oh, I can't get a job and nobody's going to hire me, nobody's going to hire you because that's what you're going to put forth. And that's damn sure what you're going to get back. It's just an example of when I was playing basketball one day and we're playing full court. And I get the ball, I drive to the lane, I do a fast break. Nobody is around me, none of that shit. I'm right, it's just me, a nigga running up real fast. But I done did that shot so many times where I just go up and toss it up. I didn't think about it. I knew I was gonna fucking make the shot. Even if the guy could have fouled me and I still would have made the shot. Because in my mind, there was no changing it. I had it open, I had it clear, I was gonna make that fucking shot. He could have punched me in the back of the motherfucking head. I was going to make that shot. Same thing. Same thing. So remember, your mind is powerful. You have the ability to affect the world around you by your thinking and also yourself, your own chemical makeup, all by your thinking, all by what you surround yourself in neuroplasticity, making sure that you keep good and positive things in your life. You ever heard of you hang around, well, you are who you hang around, right? But you hang around people you want to be like. That's the same fucking thing. You want to be a fucking millionaire? Hang out with millionaires. See how they think. Wire your brain to where they're wired. You'll most likely find your way to being like them sooner than later. If you don't have any doubt, you will find yourself having opportunities sooner than later. Now, I've seen a clip where Dave Chappelle's like, oh, law of attraction. What the fuck? I can think my way out of a situation, making a joke about it. But seriously, law of attraction is not going to say, let's say I want to be a famous musician, right? My law of attraction, I know for a fact I'm going to be a famous musician. I won't just wake up one day and be a famous musician. It will be a slow process of me thinking, building myself up as far as my own self-confidence, and then taking the opportunities that are given. Law of attraction isn't going to give you what you want. It's going to provide the opportunities for you. And it's up to you and the way you think as far as positive outcomes and negative outcomes to think positively. So when that opportunity comes up, you can take full advantage of it. The opportunities will come if you think positively. I'm going to be great. Or I'm going to get this. Or I'm going to be in this specific department. I'm going to be this specific person. You will get opportunities to be so, but you mentally have to be working on that the whole time. And a way to help staying positive is to foolishly stay positive. If a negative outcome happened, there was a little exercise I had to prove to myself that this actually works. It was a negative exercise that I would practice when I was in this negative state to work me out of this, to rewire my brain. And anytime something negative happened, I would instantly make an excuse as to what, as a positive reason why that happened. Oh, well, my car just broke down on the side of the road. Well, at least I can get a new car. Oh, my girlfriend just dumped me. Well, at least I can get a better bitch. So you have to, I just broke my fucking toe. Well, at least I get to wear a nice cast and people could feel sorry for me. I mean, you just have to make up these things in order to push yourself through. Always be happy and confident with being positive. Positivity is so important because if you're always negative, you will always stay in that depressive state. You have to foolishly be positive. You have to foolishly, if you feel like you're ugly, look in the mirror. And I mean, look in the fucking mirror and make facial expressions that you feel are attractive. Not every ugly person has at least one face they feel is attractive. If you're talking to a chick, practice that shit in the mirror. Whenever you're talking to a chick, if you just look good, like, practice that. Go in the mirror. Tell yourself that you look good when you're making that face. And you'll find as time goes on, when you continue to big yourself foolishly, even if you don't believe it, you will start to look better. You will start to look way better than you actually do because you're knowledgeable of that. You're actively taking steps to feel better about yourself. It's all about a war within your own brain. And the question is how to win that fucking war.
The second you look at your phone, the second you turn the TV on, you're in a battle. I want to win the war in the morning. If you do something you don't want to do every morning, you're already giving yourself the proper self-talk to attack the people that don't like you, to attack your insecurities, to attack what the world's going to give you.
Gotta fight. That's the only way to win the war, baby. You gotta fight. You gotta fucking stand 10 toes down, even if you can't even think you're going to lose because we already went over putting positive shit out there and expecting positive things. When you think about law of attraction, you don't do it knowing that you're going to get the positive shit. You just do it in a sense of preparing yourself for when that opportunity comes up so that it can create a positive outcome. You can never do something thinking negatively about it and think it's going to happen positively. And honestly, the moment you start questioning yourself, the moment you start creating doubt for yourself, you've already lost.
Once you start questioning yourself, you already lost. Once you start questioning yourself, once you start going into a state of depression and you start being by yourself and you start thinking and wondering, once you start wondering, you already lost. Even if you don't believe, believe. I gotta believe in me before anybody else believe in me.
Even if you don't believe. Even if you don't, you have to force yourself to believe because nobody is going to believe in you if you don't. You have to believe you're going to make it out of this depressive state. You have to believe you're going to be the person you dreamed. You have to believe it in order for other people to believe it. You have to sell yourself on you before you can sell other people. That is so imperative. The moment you start thinking, wondering, having doubt, you've lost. It's that simple. It's just one simple thought of doubt that will fuck everything up. I promise you I've seen it so many times. The moment I wasn't confident, I knew I already lost. I knew it, and I surely did every time I had that doubt. Anything that I'm confident on, that I know for a fact, even if I don't know, if I know for a fact I'm going to nail that shit, I'm going to nail it. There's no fucking way. The moment you tell yourself you can't, you won't. That's how powerful we are. Our words, our thoughts are that fucking powerful. And most of us don't even realize it. Most of us are battling our demons so bad, we don't even realize it. And you have to understand that your inner brain are your demons. You have demons in there telling you certain things. Doubt is demons. These things, I'm not going to be able to do this. Those are your fucking demons. And the way to win to the war is establishing what demons are and battling against the motherfuckers. A lot of people, well, my mind is just not right, or I'm not this and that. You know, I can't do facts. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not able to do this. I can't do this, and you fucking won't. I guarantee it, you won't. You have to establish that, hey, I'm not broken. I'm mentally whole. I am great. I'm going to be awesome. I'm going to be successful. You have to tell yourself that before you even get the opportunity. So when the opportunity presents itself, you're not figuring out what the fuck you're going to do. You know it. You know it. And here's 3 signs that you're battling demons.
3 signs that somebody's battling demons. 1, they work a lot. They keep themselves busy all the time. 2, they stay up late. They distance themselves from other people. 3, they use the phrases, I'm good, I'm okay, or I'm alright, with no emotion. Please keep an eye out on your friends and learn the signs.
So clearly this is a show that's going to be over an hour. Because we're already an hour and 10 minutes. And yeah, I think I'm not at the Holla Break point, but I'm close. So y'all bear with me, okay? We're going to be wrapping this thing up sooner than later. I'm going to run through these motherfuckers. But with that being said, you have to establish who your demons are and you have to fight against them. Any doubt are your demons. Anything that's telling you that you're not as good as you are your demons, and you have to push back. Even if you know that those demons are true, you have to push back. You have to combat negativity with always positivity. That is the only way to get your ass out of depression. Doing this show is helping my depression. The whole reason why I'm doing this show is because, 1, I'm unemployed right now. I just had a job. Then we just didn't fit and we split ways. It was mutual. But now I have to provide for my family, and I'm sitting here a week going by, a week and a half is going by, now 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'm anxious. I'm tired of playing my fucking game. I gotta, in the next month, I gotta pay some bills in this motherfucker. I gotta do something. I gotta get my ass up. So I start cleaning the fucking house. I started calling lesser places where the money ain't that good for me, but at least I have some income coming in. I have to get out of staying still and not doing nothing. Feeling bad for myself won't do shit for me, but keep me there. I have to get up and fight. Hence why I'm doing this fucking show. Hence why you're sitting here watching. If you're sitting here watching and you're at this point of the show, there is hope for you. It ain't all a lost cause for you. You are actively putting in the work to help yourself. Make sure you niggas hit the like, especially if you made it this far. Make sure you bastards hit the like. That's the only way my show is going to go far. I'm telling you, okay? So, and here's the thing. Andrew Tate, which I have a few clips of him, I don't always believe in what Andrew Tate is saying. I think that he's a rich kid who don't know no fucking better, who's arrogant, right? But he says he don't believe in depression. And we're gonna talk about that.
I can't become clinically depressed.
Why do you know?
Because I don't believe in it. I can't be haunted by a ghost if I don't believe in ghosts.
Well, that's like saying I'm never going to die because I don't believe in it. It's ridiculous.
Perhaps. I believe feeling depressed is real. I do not believe it's a disease that you catch from the sky and you cannot affect. I believe that no matter what happens, I believe you have control of your own mind and you can fight against it. I believe if you change your circumstances in your life, you may feel different. I'll give you a quick example. I had a guy who emailed me saying he was clinically depressed and he was going to kill himself. I obviously am not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor. I said, have you been to a psychiatrist? He said, yes, I'm clinically depressed. I've been on these pills, this amount of time. I'm on antidepressants, it doesn't work. And he said he lost his girlfriend, that's why I became clinically depressed. I said, listen, go to the gym, get a 6-pack first. Once you've got a 6-pack, email me again. If you still feel like killing yourself, I don't know what else to say to you. I'd say, strong body is a strong mind, go train. He went, he started sending me progress pictures, emailing me him getting in better shape, and eventually got a 6-pack, he's now a professional bodybuilder. And he said, I can't believe I was considering that, I feel so much better, etc. The doctor who was telling him he was clinically depressed and couldn't cure it, he started taking control of his own life, and now he felt better. Now, I'm not saying it's the case for everybody.
No.
Now, what Andrew Tate is more or less saying that he practiced law of attraction. He allows himself not to believe in depression because that will put him in that depressive state. So it's better for his mental to act like it doesn't even exist. And he acknowledged, yes, I do believe it's real, but personally, It doesn't exist. That's the way to keep him from that depressive state. Must I say, with this nigga in jail, I guarantee you his ass is depressed. I can guarantee that. Okay, I'm skipping in like a motherfucking salt shaker, so I apologize. Y'all just bear with me. Let my computer figure out what the hell it's doing, okay? But understand, it's the same shit I've been just talking about for the last fucking hour. That's what he means by that. He doesn't allow that doubt and to give depression power enough to even acknowledge that it exists, even though he did. You get what I'm saying? That's just how he mentally handles that. That keeps him out of the depressive state if he feels like there's no such thing. And when he does feel down, fucking get up and work. That's the only way you can get out. If you talk to a therapist, they can provide you pills, but even then, you still got to do the work. What the fuck am I paying these people for if I still got to do the work in the first place? You are way more powerful than you actually think you are. And it's because life is so hard that a lot of people don't like taking tests. But that's all life is. Life is just nothing but a big test.
You will be tested. And how you face that test and how you overcome that test determines the rest of your life. The one mentality that you must have in life is that regardless of what's in front of you, you still must grind. I'll never be in the Olympics. I'll never be a professional athlete, but still I grind. I fail at most things I do, but still I grind. I don't want to do half the shit I do, but still I grind. And that one day, you see me down a dark alley, run at 1 o'clock in the morning, know one thing. I was grinding.
If you're too busy grinding, too busy focusing, keeping your eye on the prize, you ain't got shit else. You ain't got time to worry about the other shit. You'll find that you'll have more of a win when you grind it. When you got to this area that you thought you couldn't get there. And you didn't allow the doubt to prevent you from getting there. You had to grind. That's what this is all about. You got to grind. And honestly, a lot of us don't because we're afraid that all of that work will go to waste. Here's the thing. Failure is a good damn thing. Failure will tell you where you are. Failure will make sure you are in a specific area and know where you stand. Hey, I didn't do good at this point. Let me try again. All it is just telling you you get another turn at trying to accomplish whatever the fuck you're trying to accomplish. Failure isn't the end road. It's just the damn beginning. That's what you got to look at. You can't be afraid of failure.
I talked to a group of lawyers this week. When I got done, one guy came over to me frustrated. He goes, man, I keep on failing. It took me 4 times to pass the bar. I'm trying to start my business. I keep on failing at that. The whole time he was talking to me, I started smiling. He goes, why are you smiling? I said, because you missed it. I don't see failure. I see grit, determination, drive, sacrifice. Failure means you're trying. A whole bunch of people out here never fail because they never try. He said, how do you handle failure, Goggins? I said, I don't look at it as failure. I look at it as my first, second, third attempt. One thing in life that's for sure. The valiant motherfucker always wins. Stay hard.
Let's go even a step further. Failure is just a learning tool for you to make you stronger. Oh, I failed at this. So when I do get in that predicament and I do eventually get accepted, I know not to do this. I know not to do this. And in the end, it makes you more experienced. That's the whole point. Fear is not real. Fear is made up. Fear is your demons. And the most people, like Will Smith, will go and try to face his fears, and he's bigger than life. Nigga just slapped fucking Chris Rock, dropped Emancipation, and he all good with me. You understand what I'm saying? Failure isn't the end road. It is just the beginning. And it will make you stronger. It will make you stronger at the end. You have to understand. Don't make excuses Motherfuckers, just get out and grind. Don't be afraid. Fucking face that shit head on and make no excuses.
You can't let conditions dictate your outcome. They believe that if it rains or snows or it's too windy, they may cancel the fucking marathon. They ain't canceling shit. You better train with whatever conditions they fucking give you. The person that usually fucking feels me, she's taking a day off in the car right now because it's too nasty. Don't do the same. Stay hard.
You can't make excuses. Oh, well, I could take a break this day. Oh, I could feel down and start doubting myself now. You can't ever make excuses for you allowing your demons to take over. You can't. You got to consistently fight until it becomes a sense of habit. You have to. That is the only way for you to survive depression. Get your ass up and do the fucking work. Because at this point, now that we cleared that you can have control, stop being fucking weak. You are in control of your own destiny. We just proved it here. With not only neuroplasticity, changing the way you think, but also law of attraction. Changing the way you think to get better outcomes. Don't be fucking weak. If you still go through all of this shit, watch this whole fucking live stream, and still feel like you felt before, you're just fucking weak.
Some of you are so weak. Just being in your very presence can make a man go impotent. Is this the message you really want to put out there, Goggins? Fuck yeah, that's the fucking message I want to put out there. That's what effort fucking looks like. Life ain't gonna always hand you some motherfucking nice cream pie. Stay hard.
You gotta go out there and get that shit. You can't let the moment break you. You gotta go out there and get that shit. If you feeling down, you gotta put in the fucking work. You got to. If you don't, you weak. See, that's when it then becomes, when you know at this point that you can make a valiant effort to change where you are in life, mentally and physically, and you still don't put in the work, don't grind, you're just fucking weak. And that goes back to my point of niggas committing suicide. The shit was too tough. They were too mentally weak to handle it. So the best option was to create a permanent solution to a temporary fucking problem. We just talked about how storms, depression, that's all temporary. It's all momentary. It's not gonna stay forever. It's a fucking storm. You gotta work out of it. You gotta fucking grind. You gotta stop feeling sorry for your fucking self. Pick yourself up. Stop being a bitch and go at it hard.
So I got an email the other day. This guy's talking about he's struggling to get up. Wants to go to the gym and start grinding early in the morning. I said, when I was 24, I had the same condition, man. I had the same problem. So I started to study it. The more I studied it, I came with this crazy conclusion. I'm just being a bitch. It's a mindset. In Godlish, it means weak, soft, feel sorry for yourself. Get your ass up and lace him up. Stay hard.
Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. We didn't establish all of the other points that will empower you. Now you got to look at it as, hey, I can't be on that. Because I'm going to be a bitch. I'm weak if I think this. If I allow depression to take over me, I'm weak. I'm being a bitch. I got to fight back. That's one of the biggest things about this whole thing that allowed me to push forward. Because when I felt down and I felt like not doing anything, I felt like I was being a bitch to myself. And one thing about my demons, personally, is that it will eat me alive worse if I feel inept enough. If I don't feel like I gave it 100% like I should have. When I was single out there fucking with bitches, my mental would eat me alive if I didn't say something to that bitch. That's why I was a dog. My mental would eat me the fuck. You a bitch ass nigga. You could have got some pussy if you had said something. You could have got some pussy if you had grabbed your balls. Now you finna sit at the house by your fucking self doing nothing because you was too bitch to do anything about it. That's why this nigga say stay hard. It'll prepare you. It'll help you combat this shit. You can't be a bitch and deal with depression. If you are dealing with depression and it defeats you, that's exactly what you are. And I can say that because, one, I've experienced it. I've fought out of that shit. And I just proved to you how you can control that shit. A lot of us, when it comes down to depression, don't know that we have as much control as we actually do. And there will be moments where the message doesn't get across. And it gets too late. And someone kills themselves.
This kid was having a hard time with bullies. They wrote this great email to me, and they wanted me to talk to their son. The son was a big follower of mine. And when I got to his email, called his family up, said, hey, what's going on? You know, it's David Goggins. They were all happy to hear it. And so I called, he's like, yeah. And it was a silent, very silent pause. I'll take on whatever challenge is in front of me. I'll take it on because a lot of people don't have that courage, and it's hard to be brave. It's fucking hard to speak up for what you believe in.
It's fucking hard. But you still got to push forward, baby. And I know, based on that message alone, because he speaks about hardness and being true and real and making sure that you fight through and giving effort. I know that this message might go over some of y'all heads. But you can't be a bitch about it. You can't be weak. You are stronger than what you think you are. You're stronger than what you think. And sometimes people are lost causes. That don't have to be you. You don't have to fold to depression because it could be lethal. You have to fight back. You have to do something about it. Grab your fucking bootstraps, put your boots on, and get to fucking work. Point blank, period. And now, let's take a fucking holla break. Holla, you ugly old bastard. I already know what the fuck you gonna say, but how you feel about this bullshit called depression?
Holla, 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 holla at you. Holla at you, baby. Holla at you. Holla, 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 holla. Holla, 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 holla at you. Holla at you, holla at you, holla at you. Baby, holla at you, holla at you, holla at you. Holla at you, holla, 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 holla. Holla at you, at you, holla, 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 holla. Holla, 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 holla. Holla, 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 holla. Holla, holla, holla.
So, for some of you motherfuckers that don't know, because I speak to this nigga every show, unfortunately. Okay, he opens the show, he's the middle break, and he's the ending of the show. And what he was saying is that he ain't got time because he too busy hollering at these raggedy, stinking ass bitches. Okay, and he know if he ain't uppity and all that shit, he ain't getting them bitches. Okay, so he say holler to depression because he ain't fucking around. Okay, so that's more or less what the fuck that nigga was saying. Now let's take a look at holla grandma. Grandma, how do you deal with depression? Okay?
Come on now, do it!
They said create holla OnlyFans.
Fly line up to dicks and sucks tonight.
What? See holla.
Mighty mo. Come on, baby, bring some mo.
Okay. Holla. Grandma, I Clearly, she deals with depression by lining up the dicks and sucking them up tonight. And hey, if that's what you do to help get you up out of there, do that, okay? I used to smash bitches on a regular basis to help me get through my depression, but, you know, whatever it is, get your ass up and do it, okay? Even if it's like grandma says, by lining up the dicks and sucking them up tonight. But before you even do that, you have to have self-confidence. Now let's go into what self-confidence is, okay? Now, this is the point of the show where we're going to be ending soon, right? And it's about building yourself. We talked about law of attraction, having your positive mindset. This goes hand in hand. Then you have to start working on building your self-confidence, because your self-confidence will make it easier or harder for you the next time you find yourself in a depressive state. So self-confidence. Confidence is a state of being clear-headed, either in a hypothesis or a prediction that is correct, or that a chosen course of action is the best or most effective. Confidence comes from the Latin words fidere, whatever the fuck, which means to trust. Therefore, having self-confidence is having trust in oneself. You got to have faith in your ability to get the fuck out of that storm, to see the light. You have to have the trust in yourself to work out of that. That's how you maneuver through these moments of depression, where you find yourself in my position, to where all I got to do is make a video about depression and I'm lifted up. Being able to help other people, I'm lifted up. I have the self-confidence in myself, given the opportunity of whatever it is, that I will rock that out. I have that confidence. You can see that confidence in me. It's also my thinking that's along with that. I told you guys, look in the fucking mirror. If you think you fucking ugly, look at your facial expressions that you find attractive and practice those so that you could find yourself in a higher light. See, when you start looking at yourself and visibly seeing that you are looking more attractive, you start to do more to get better. When you see the results, then you buy into it. You have to have that confidence in yourself, and you have to build it. That goes also to neuroplasticity, the wiring of your brain. You have to wire your brain in a way to think, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I'm attractive. You'll start putting yourself in position to not only think that way, but be that way. You have to think and believe in yourself before anybody else can. And it goes to a point where a lot of people are like, well, how can I believe in myself?
When you believe something, it brings you a lot of confidence. That's the reason why we believe. Well, we started with believing God. These days it's become fashionable to say, I believe in myself. I don't know what that means. How can you believe in yourself? No, I believe in myself. All you're trying to do is confidence-boosting exercise. Confidence is a dangerous damn thing. Most stupid things in the world are done because somebody is confident without any clarity about it. Most idiotic and disastrous things are done by people who have confidence without clarity. And they're usually believers. Either they believe in that or this or that or something. Essentially, belief means you're fundamentally dishonest. You're not willing to see, I do not know.
See, this is why religion isn't enough for me. Because there's no clarity behind it. It's books, it's words, it's history, but there's no clarity. We can't prove that Jesus walked on water. We can't prove that Jesus healed people. So how can I put all my eggs in a basket in God when terrible things happen on a regular basis? I need clarity. And the clarity I cleared up for you, and why it's important to have self-confidence, why it's important to change the way your brain is wired, why it's important to think positive, because that's the only power that we actually have, that we can see, that we have clarity of. This man just said, if you do not have the clarity, confidence could be such a dangerous thing. But we already cleared the clarity part. We are clear. We have the power to change the way our brain is molded. We can rewire our brain and change the way we think. We can also think a certain way to bring outside things to us. That's why it's important to have the self-confidence. We got the clarity. Now let's build up the confidence part. This video will make you I'm gonna have to goddamn edit that out, goddamn, with a different sound, because that's gonna be a copyright claim like a bastard. Do you see po little Tinker? Okay, you got Tink Tink, who was running in a race. Come to find out he was taking steroids. Okay, but you got Tinker right here. Okay, this bitch got one leg, and she got damn pushed. Oh hell, and she kept fucking going. She kept doing it. She didn't allow the pressure to get to her. She kept fucking pushing. If po little Tinker can do it, your ugly ass can do it. There's no excuses. We done with that shit. You gotta believe in yourself before anybody else believe in you. You gotta believe you great before the next motherfucker believe you great.
A lot of people will try to put their fears on you. You can't do that. No, you can't do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So they just projecting. They're putting things that they don't believe that they can do on you. And you may possibly can do. Uncle said I never sell 1,000,000 records. I sold 1,000,000 records like 1,000,000 times. His nephew. I don't think he meant any malice.
He wanted the best for you, but he
just was
didn't
projecting
believe.
his fears and
Right.
things that, are you crazy? But he couldn't even see it at the time. The whole thing is just, and always believe you're great, even before anybody else believes it.
And that goes so close to the neuroplasticity part. Our family members that we look up to, our parents. How the fuck can they tell you how to get somewhere if where you're trying to go ain't nowhere they ever been? How can they help you in that department? Oh, well, you can't do this or you can't do that. How you gonna allow somebody to tell you you can't do something if they ain't never been there? They ain't did it themselves. It would be different if they were rock stars and that's what you wanted to be and they were telling you you couldn't. But even then, you can't allow someone to tell you that you can't be. Jay-Z just said it. His uncle fucking told him he can't sell 1,000,000 records. Nigga end up selling 1,000,000 records 1,000,000 times. You got to know that you are great before anybody else does. You have to believe in yourself before anybody else does. And the question is, when do I start believing in myself?
The time is now. The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
And that's and my sense of depression, it ended up forcing me to want to be great. It forced me to want to never be in that predicament mentally again. So the only way I can do that is by doing great things, by having these ideas that are tough to accomplish. And when I actually accomplish them, I feel great. Just for example, if I do a video that do really good on numbers, I'm instantly trying to figure out how to better myself, how to do it again. The one time a video that I do is successful, it then makes me want to outdo it because I want to always be the best me I can be. How? It's now. You got to do it now. Time waits on no man. And if you find yourself moping and feeling sorry for yourself, you're going to look up and you done wasted all your fucking time on shit that you actually had control over. If for those of you who are in here who are seeing it at this point late, rewind. It was some very critical information that you needed to learn about this. You have to believe in yourself. You have to. Look at Leon Edwards, a man that at the end of the day felt sorry for himself and then grabbed his bootstraps and knocked out Kamaru Usman. And this is his celebration.
Don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Never pound for pound. Headshot dead. That's it.
He grabbed his fucking bootstraps and he knocked that nigga the fuck out. Everybody, including me, thought he was gonna lose. Thought he couldn't beat him. And he did what was unthinkable. He didn't allow people on the outside to wire his brain to think otherwise. He got his ass up and kicked that nigga in the fucking head. And now he's the champion of the fucking world over a dominant champion. That's proof right there. Out of all the proof I done showed you of how possible you are to get the fuck out of this state, that's proof right there. You gotta believe in yourself.
You've got to bet on you. You believe in everybody else. You clap for everybody else. You support everybody else. You baking cakes and making cookies for everybody else. But when are you going to look in the mirror and believe in the darn person you see? It's about time for you to believe in you because you got it.
A lot of us don't know what we look like in the mirror because our demons have shielded us so much that we don't see it. Look in the fucking mirror. Spend hours looking in the mirror. See your greatness. Look yourself in your own eyes. Get lost in your own eyes. That'll be the moment you figure out who you are. That'll be the moment you find out who you are. When you spend hours and hours and hours looking at the mirror, looking at yourself, that's when you know. You steady focusing on everybody else is getting you nowhere. You helping everybody else is getting you nowhere. When the whole point of the matter is, you got to focus on you. You got to believe in yourself.
Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not good enough, okay? And so many young people think that they can't, or they don't have the potential, or somebody else is better. Forget everything about it. I mean, you know, if you really want something bad enough, if you really, really want something bad enough, you'll figure out a way to get there. It may not be exactly what you had in mind, like the Olympia third place wasn't exactly what I had in mind. Okay, but I'll take third place. And I really believe if you want something bad enough, you can will it to happen.
Willpower is a motherfucker. Because if you got will, if you will something, there was nothing stopping you from getting there. That's why when I play basketball, people who are physically more skilled than me can lose because I will myself to a W. I fight tiredness. I push back. I don't let the moment be too big for me. And I fight back. I keep going. I get on the roll. Next thing I know, I didn't hit game point. Next thing I know, I didn't hit the game-winning shot. You can't allow someone else to tell you you can't be something you know you can be. And most of it is us trying to motivate ourselves to get there, to believe in it. And honestly, if you are depressed, this is the perfect opportunity to get you out of there because depression could be the ultimate motivation.
Depression is the ultimate motivation. If you're unhappy with your life and you're depressed, I don't expect you to be popping pills and sitting and laying in bed. I expect you to give me a huge list of everything you're achieving per day. Depression's a fantastic motivation, you know, but people are told the opposite. No, take the pills, stay home, take some time off. Complete garbage. You're depressed? Okay, get up, go for a run, lift more weights, make more money, get a second job, get more girls. Like, you can outrun depression. Guy who's
That's a
coming
great
to me.
quote right there.
You can outrun depression. You ain't got time to be sad
Right.
if you're getting where you need to get. You ain't got time for that. You can outrun it. If you start working the jobs you need to do and you're training and you're seeing 3 or 4 different girls and you're trying to start your business on the side, you have no time to sit around moping. So outrun it. And before you know it, you'll wake up one day and you'll look at your life and go,
Wow.
Like I said, I don't always believe in what he says, but it's a lot of shit that he says that is just right on the fucking head. And I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Andrew Tate. The first few times I watched some of his videos, I'm like, this dude disturbs my calm. But I came across some others, I'm like, dude is spouting straight up truth right there. Then I watched some others and I'm like, man, that is stinky tofu. But then I watched some others and I learned some things. You will learn more by chewing on what you disagree with and working out. Why do I disagree with this so much? One of two things will happen if you have the courage to go through that process. Number one, you will learn something. Or number two, you will walk away much more settled and much stronger in your original belief because you put it to the test and you came out the other side of the test.
Sometimes you gotta do shit you don't want to do. Sometimes you gotta do shit that you disagree with. And one of two things. You'll have a different outlook on it when you actually stop discounting things and go at it head first. Or you'll find out your beliefs are stronger than what it originally was. You took the time to figure out whatever that issue is. Same thing with depression. You have to take the time to face it head on. You can't run from it. You can't shy away from it. You gotta deal with it head on. And you'll find out that it'll make you stronger in the end. And the thing is, when it comes down to guys, men teach boys how to be men.
Moms turn babies into boys, but it's the dads who turn boys into men. And when the dads are absent or emotionally absent, in other words, there but emotionally disconnected, and when they haven't been taught how to be a man, how to stand up and shake hands, you don't just say hi to someone. You stand up, shake hands, make eye contact. If a woman's going up the escalator, you stand behind her. If she's going down the escalator, you stand in front of her. If you're walking on a sidewalk with a woman, a man walks on the street side. You're opening doors for women. You're a savage and a servant. You're a lamb and a lion. Are you going to show up as a passive-aggressive man, or are you going to show up as a guy who can protect, provide, and preside, lead his family?
And that's the biggest thing as a man that is so debilitating when it comes down to depression. Because as a man, I don't have a fucking choice. I still got to provide. I still got to do the things that I need to do to better myself for my family. So that's why it's so critical, especially if you are a man, to fight back, to push back. You have no choice, especially if you have offspring and you are a man and you got a son, you got to push back. You can't allow this to consume you because at the end of the day, you have responsibilities. If you are a man and you don't have any kids, you have to get yourself in a position so that you can take care of your business when you do get that opportunity. You can't allow depression to wipe you out. You can't allow it. You have to have so much self-belief that you know you're going to get through it. Because at the end of the day, society is tough on men. We have no choice most times but to do it. We have to have self-belief. Even as far as animals and birds having belief in themselves. The fucking parent will just throw their ass out of the nest and expect them to fly. They have to have that. They have to teach, first off, go out and flap their wings, put that effort in so that they won't die. It's the same fucking difference. This is the stigma rule. I was just told we're going over 2 hours. My clock says 1 hour and 40 minutes. We finna wrap this shit up real quick. But a bird, an eagle, birds or whatever, are never afraid of the branch collapsing. In fact, they damn near expect it. That's life. Life is that branch. We are that bird sitting on that branch. We need to have so much faith in ourselves that if that branch breaks down and crumbles, we have to be strong enough and have so much self-belief in ourselves that we're going to keep fucking going and stay afloat. Same thing. Self-belief is so important because it will you through this storm, which we've already established is depression. Most men, most people in general, aren't even living. Because when you go down to the financials have a lot to do with depression. And when it comes down to it, you're so worried about surviving, most of us aren't living.
Most of you men aren't even living your life. You're barely existing and then you die, following the footsteps of your parents and everyone around you. I'm trying to show you the alternative path. You have a chance. And when I say this is absolutely true. When I say most men aren't even living life, like to most of you guys watching this, the idea of driving a Lamborghini, the idea of owning one is insane. How many cars do we have now? 36?
I think 33, actually.
It's nothing. A Lamborghini is nothing. A private jet is nothing. You know what? When I first started flying on private jets, I remember the first time I flew in a jet was a big deal. But now I don't even take pictures. I don't even take videos. It's just flying.
It's just travel.
It's just travel. It's 3 times a week. How can I be bored of something that you've never even tried? Doesn't that instill you to want to try harder with your life? Are you really so far below me? Did God really create you as such an inferior specimen that I'm going to go through life doing things that I'm completely and utterly bored of via repetition that you never once get to experience ever? If that does not inspire you to try harder, then there's something wrong.
Money ain't gonna fix our problems. So a lot of us, especially me, have found myself in depressive states because of what I didn't have. Not understanding when I do get it, I'm going to have a whole host of other problems. If you always use something as the reason why it's okay to feel the way you feel, you'll never get anywhere. If I'm going to have this therapist wave this magic wand and my problems are going to go away. Oh, when this therapist gives me the proper prescriptions, all this is going to go away. We've already covered it won't. Oh, when I get this money, all of my problems are going to go away. Probably all your broke problems, but then you're going to realize real quick you got rich people problems. But it's all about finding that self-belief in yourself, finding happiness within yourself. Here's proof. Money, this is what happens when you don't care about money. You start to focus on happiness.
I don't do the things that everybody do to make it. I had to sit down and think about it. I don't want it like that. All I can buy is cars and shoes, a bigger house, more cars, and I want some more ass kissers. This is what rich do. This is what money is. If you really break it down, there's nothing you can really do with it. You're just stacking it up to give it to somebody. Because if something happened to you, you're not taking it with you. Once I start thinking like that, the desire for me to chase in this business and compete, it went away. I'ma just enjoy being a comic. Because at the end of the day, that's really the only happiness that I get.
So, at the end of the day, the end road that you should be fighting for, that you should be grinding for, is your true happiness. Because all of these other things, drugs, money, status, it means nothing when your story is done being told. It's only about what you did in between your dash marker. So, hopefully, those of you that came here with depression, of whatever stems that depression, you have to find your true happiness at the end of the day. You can't do it because of this, or you can't do it because of that. You can't do it because I want money, or you can't, if I get this, my problems are going to be fixed. Nothing will substitute for your lack of happiness if your mental isn't together and if you aren't actively working to be happy. Money is the root of all evil. Drugs can mask up your issue instead of fixing the problem. Money could just create more problems for you and change you as a person.
Never think about can't. Nigga, I'm solution based. I don't listen to problems to gossip with niggas. And I understand. But niggas don't have no fucking heart. You can't go to war with niggas who love tangible things. And niggas talk that fucking warrior shit, but these niggas is so unproven. But you give your loyalty to niggas who are unproven, who do shit for money and that's it. They don't do shit for the love of the people. And the biggest commodity of anything is the fucking people. It's no you without the people. Don't give a fuck how much money you got. With no people, nigga, you're nothing.
So all these people that we look up to, they all go through depression. They all are human just like every last one of us. But at the end of the day, you have to find happiness. You have to be genuine. You have to use actual tangible things to get you out of your place of depression. You can't rely on those tangible things, but it has to be within. At the end of the day, the whole point of this show was just to show you, hey, you have the tools already to fight through this. You have the tools. You just have to change the way you think and the way you carry yourself. You will gain followers if you stay true to you. If you want to be this grand big person, you can gain it, but it starts within. I've always thought, what separates successful people from people who aren't? Because everybody got dreams, and it was what was inside. The end of the day, all my research showed it was the thinking, the outside of the box thinking. It was the work they put in, the confidence that they had in themselves, enough to stray away from what everybody else does, and they thought outside the box. That's what blows people up versus people who don't go anywhere. Setting the trends. And in order for you to be comfortable enough to set the trends, you have to have confidence in yourself. You have to have the work ethic behind it. And you have to have the opportunities to walk through that door in order to get to where you need to be. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a wonderful show. I hope I gave enough information for you guys to maneuver through. I'm going to take my black ass on down somewhere, relax. I did 2 shows this week. I will figure out the show for next week. But this is just for y'all. Sean Thomas, I call him Thompson. His Thomas. Sean Thomas, this is for you, brother. I ain't seen you in the live stream. Hopefully you get a chance to watch this whole video. This is also for me and all of you who are struggling with depression. We just established what that is. And now that we know, stop being weak. Don't be a bitch. Fight. Fight them inner demons. And at the end of the day, you'll be okay. And you're not alone. We all go through this. Every living person will go through depression. Even Andrew Tate, who I can guarantee is depressed right now. Fight. Fight out of it. My name is Erek motherfucking Loyd. I'm out this bitch. Holla at your boy.
Looking at the holla, 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 holla. Holla, 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 let me holler at you, 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 let me holler at you. Holla, 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 holla.
Overlord, I see you, brother. You're late, bastard. Make sure you take a look at the whole show. It's all good, brother. Just hit the like button and look back. It's a long show. You can enjoy yourself. My name is Erek Loyd. I'm out this motherfucker.
Striving while I'm fighting to achieve my fucking goals. I'm so obsessed with the quest that it is so absurd. I hope I don't end up in the back of a hope my mama never had to put me in the dirt. I'm contemplating